I'm Brian and this is Duck River Homestead. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we are going to continue working on the homestead. We will install a door, we'll finish drying in the roof, and we're going to put a fence around the garden. Just some of the items that are on a long laundry list of items that we need to continue to work on.
What's what? That's going. Oh.
I've been asked, what exactly is homesteading? How is it different than farming, etc. And homesteading, my definition, because really you have to define it for yourself. And a lot of people will agree on this, is it's a mindset. It's starting small. It's not just going out and buying a piece of land and, planting a garden, building a house and all that stuff. That's part of it, sure. What it really starts is in your head. You have to ask yourself a couple questions. Where does your food come from? Do you prepare your food yourself? How often do you go to the grocery store? Have you ever tried gardening? Have you ever planted a seed and watched it grow into a cucumber or a carrot or broccoli? So it starts in the mind, homesteading does. And it starts with just a simple decision of saying, I'm going to start making different choices, and I'm going to start moving towards being able to take care of myself, my family, my community. Homesteading isn't just about yourself, it's about community as well. I think it would be simple to look at homesteading and think, just how can I take care of myself? I think that's the easy thing to do, is just worry about yourself. I don't think that God put us on this earth just to be by ourselves. We're here for community. We're here to grow as a community and thrive as a community. That's why neighbors are so important, knowing your neighbors, etc. So what is homesteading? Homesteading starts in the mind. It continues as you start working with your neighbors, with your friends, and saying, how can we depend upon each other, depend on ourselves to start providing food for ourselves? It looks a little bit like if you have an apartment, have a window ledge full of some celery, some peanuts, get some cucumbers. You're going to need a trellis or something like that for it, but that's okay. Start it indoors and put it next to a window and watch it grow. You're going to have to propagate your own flowers, but that's okay. But that's where it starts. Where it continues is up to you. For us, we really wanted land. We wanted land for our kids to be able to run around and play. We wanted to be able to depend on the land, grow food, and not just enough for ourselves, but hopefully enough to help feed our community. To us, that's where homesteading continues, right? It's okay for it to be for profit. It's okay to make some money off of it. It's okay to trade. This morning we just had a plant swap that Sarah hosted, and that really came about because she wanted to meet and get to know local gardeners, people that want to do this for themselves, people that have been doing it for 50 years, people that are just starting. And what's really cool is we met some people that are just there. They've been doing it for years. Some are just planting their first garden. Very cool. And what's really cool is that we now have a list of people that we can reach out to and say, hey, we've got extra blueberries. Do you need some? Homesteading can continue from there. In my opinion, it's living as close to the land as possible without separating yourself from society. This is why we are deciding to build our own home with local lumber as much as possible, and trying to take all of the resources that we can out of this area and utilize it for good, right? Now, I'm not saying that you have to buy land and build your own house from lumber that you're milling yourself. That's what we're doing. It's cool, don't get me wrong. Should everybody do it? Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to. Your situation is different. But see, we didn't get here overnight. First of all, we're not even here yet. We're still living at Sarah's parents' house. And that's part of the sacrifice that we're making to make this happen. Is it really a sacrifice? No, we love them. It's great. But it's still not what the world tells us to do, right? The world says, go buy your, house or whatever it is in a nice neighborhood, live by yourself, and hopefully you never have to take care of your parents. And that's just simply not how we've done it for the past thousands of years. And history says that this is abnormal. This is not normal, folks. If you haven't read the book, Folks, This Ain't Normal, by Joel Salatin, I strongly recommend that you do. It's a great book. So why are we homesteading? We're homesteading to escape the broken system that we live in. If we look at how everything's set up, one, it's falling apart. Two, monoculture farms are not sustainable. And our food system's falling apart. Our transportation system's falling apart. As I'll say over and over again, we have been relying on inexpensive and cheap fuel for too long. And it's about to get difficult. It's about to get hard. You know that. I know that. I don't have to remind you of that. You know it. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to hope and pray that Kroger doesn't run out of food again? Think back to 2020 when the shelves were empty. Did you know where your food was going to come from next? We had some food storage available. Not a huge amount. We moved to Tennessee about 5 years ago. Closed on our house actually 5 years ago this month. And our goal was to buy land, build a house on it in 5 years. 5 years was the goal. What's kind of cool is 5 years, almost to the day, our mobile home is going to be delivered to the house and we'll be moving in shortly, which is amazing. We bought the land a year ago, a year ahead of schedule. God knew it was going to take longer than a year to get everything here, and that's okay. We're okay with that. We know it takes time. So if this is something you want to do, what are you waiting for? Now, I know you're not going to be on land tomorrow or a year or 3 or 4 years or even 5 years. But it's time. It's time to make that change. And I really hope that you are able to make that change. One thing that we did was we came up with a list when we were moving here to Tennessee. And we came up with a list of, okay, are we going to buy new construction? Or are we going to buy an already existing home? Or are we going to buy land and put a mobile home on it? Now, at that point of time, it was difficult for us to buy land and put a home on it. Buying land often requires a larger amount of down payment. I would recommend talking to a company called Farm Credit. They will allow for 10 to 15% down payment on land. 10% means that you have a 10-year mortgage. 15% means that you can have a 15-year mortgage, etc. If you can put 20% down, you can get a 20-year mortgage. I wouldn't recommend having that long of a mortgage, but this is much better for rural or agricultural land purchases. Oftentimes, if you go through the bank, it'll be a 50% down with 10 years. So if you have a $200,000 property, you've got to put down $100,000 and still have a 10-year mortgage on that. For some people, that's doable. But if you can save up $20,000 or $10,000, you can get 3, 4, 5, 10 acres for 10%, 15% down. And that's a great start. Sometimes you just need to sit on the land for a while you wait for other cash to build up. Or you buy a trailer and live on the land as you're paying that off and saving up to build. There's lots of options. What we chose to do is buy a brand new construction house. We moved here, like I said, 5 years ago. 5-year plan to buy land. We did that in 4 years. All that to say, this did not happen overnight. This has been a long journey, and it still feels like we're just getting started. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I hope I never get sick of it. I hope it's always fun. And you know what? I know it's not always going to be fun. There have been days where I'm digging trenches that I'm not having fun. But I know that it's necessary. We got to get it done. And it's part of life. We have gone through easy life for too long. It's time to start doing the hard things, start making the hard decisions, start moving towards self-sufficiency and community sufficiency. I don't know exactly the word. Interdependency with our neighbors and our friends. I'll come up with a word for that. So I talked about a little bit what's the difference between homesteading and farming. I think farming is more of a commercial operation. It's saying we are going to produce these crops, sell them to the local market, and that's great. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's not what we want necessarily. That's not necessarily what we want to do right now. I'm not closed off to it. It's just not something that we want to do. We want to be focused on providing for our family, which is extremely important. Providing for our neighbors and community if possible. Out of our abundance, we will give to others. That's really the point, right? And so what I want you to do is think, how can you make that first step into homesteading? And remember what I said, what's homesteading? It might be that you're in an apartment and you start growing some bell peppers on your window ledge. Cool. You can't eat all of those. I mean, you can maybe. Give them to your neighbors. That's homesteading, right? Get started today. Not tomorrow. Order that plant you've been looking at or thinking about. Do it. Do it today. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video as we are continuing to work on our property, as we continue to slowly work on the property that we will be able to live in someday soon. God bless.